This is a production of PBS 39.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Burkett. We all know the name Leonardo da Vinci, one of the most famous artists in history. Some have called him the ultimate Renaissance man for his work not only as a painter, but as a scientist. Well, da Vinci's got some modern-day competition in Bethlehem. It boasts its own multi-talented man. And believe us when we say Ben Marcune is a jack of all trades. Katie Fellinger tells us more.
You may recognize this scene from the Nutcracker Ballet with Mother Ginger and her little children. But can you tell who's playing the part? Look closely.
People used to love it. It was a big hit in the performances.
Bethlehem resident Ben Marcune started dancing very young.
I was very athletic and could jump high, which is very, very important.
Ben even worked closely with famous artists like Leslie Caron, who before appearing in silver screen movies with Cary Grant, was in Ben's dance class.
I was 16 and she was 17, and I fell madly in love with her.
Over the years, Ben dipped his toe in lots of other activities. He had a thing for motorcycles. He graduated from college and went into biomedical research. He served as a medic in Korea. And he loves to take his boat out on the water. In his sailing adventures, Ben's been able to incorporate another of his passions that he didn't even pick up till the age of 40, plein air painting, or painting from nature.
From nature, you really learn how to see. You learn the visual language of seeing.
Now Ben paints at least 100 landscape paintings a year, and some of them hang in some pretty significant places, like here in the Board of Trustees room at St. Luke's Hospital. Each painting's a rendering of the hospital's different campuses.
We thought it was important for them to be surrounded by these wonderful paintings that represent some of the history of the community relative to healthcare.
It gives a sense of presence of people. It's just not a building, but there are people there working.
And it gives folks the sense of St. Luke's history.
And this room now with the paintings just brings that all together. And I think reinforces to all of us the size of our network and the number of people in various communities who depend on us to deliver their health care.
Besides painting places, Ben also does portraits. Here in his private studio, he smudges the palette as he turns this canvas into an oil painting of two of the Lehigh Valley's well-known philanthropists, Beal and Lenny Fowler. As he adds shape and definition to the features, Ben tries to emote Beal's personality.
What I tried to do is create a feeling of, a sense of that person.
Ben's done other portraits of well-known people, like fashion designer Mary McFadden and the conductor of the Allentown Symphony Orchestra, Diane Witchery. Ben took me on a tour of his Banana Factory studio to show me some of his work.
And I wanted to get Diane emoting the mood to the orchestra and the sense of movement in her hand and holding the baton.
And other artists like opera singer Denise Graves.
So when I was sketching her, she was humming opera to me. It became a trance-like experience.
Ben's also worked with local politicians. Former Bethlehem mayors Ken Smith and Don Cunningham posed for their portraits that now hang in City Hall. Current Mayor John Callahan walks past his mentor's portrait every day on his way into work.
Don's a very good friend of mine, and he also did a great job as mayor. But it's funny, people often will say, well, when are you going to get your picture up there? When are you going to get your portrait up there?
But Ben's work stretches beyond landscape paintings and portraits. Recognize these sculptures? Ben's Lehigh Valley Workers Memorial looks on as Bethlehem city workers tend to the gardens. And just outside his studio, the steel worker statue proudly holds up a beam.
In tribute to 125 years of steelmaking history here in the city of Bethlehem, and it pays tribute to the generation of workers that have toiled there.
Ben also paid tribute in this Armed Forces monument that sits here on Lehigh Carbon Community College's campus. As you can see, the base of the monument is in the shape of a star, and each point represents a different branch of the United States Armed Forces. As for the soldier figure on top, Ben wanted to go for something more than just the image of a war hero. The children swinging from the soldier's arms represent a sense of peace and the soldier's dedication to the country that he serves. And Ben tries to send a message through every piece that he does.
Changing light and emotion and everything else to try to capture in the paintings people relate to.
Ben creates about 2 sculptures a year, and he sculpts in what's called heroic size.
I make all my figures larger than life. This is the first starting point when I do a bronze, is work the sketch.
He'll also build a smaller version of the sculpture called a maquette before creating the large-scale version. That's what he did for this statue entitled Our Lady of Deliverance. Atop the hill at DeSales University, Mary watches over the campus.
Well, he has, in my view, an ability to understand spirituality and how deeply it resonates within people. He's able to capture that in some visible form.
It's that ability that made the university commission Ben for sculptures of 2 saints very important to the university, St. Francis de Sales himself and St. Jane de Chantal. In fact, Ben's commissioned with various projects for 5 years out.
He has eyes that allow him to see things that other people don't see, and that makes him, I think, a great artist.
In fact, Ben's received congressional recognition for his artistic contributions to the community. And folks say Ben's artwork plays a major role in making that community more than just bricks and mortar. For Tempo, I'm Katie Fellinger reporting.